Welcome to this explainer. If you're a focused learner trying to navigate today's rapidly advancing, and let's be honest, sometimes incredibly confusing AI landscape, well, you are in the exact right place. We're looking at a world right now where artificial intelligence is fundamentally changing how we study, work, and create. But with major new versions and updated models dropping what feels like every few months, making sense of it all, yeah, it can feel completely overwhelming. We've got all these powerful options right at our fingertips, but finding the absolute best tool for your specific workflow is a real challenge.
Okay, let's dive into this. The core question on everyone's mind is pretty simple. Which AI actually wins in 2026? We are looking at a massive showdown between the three biggest titans in the industry: ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Claude. Millions of users are logging into these platforms every single day trying to automate their busy work. But listen, you don't need just any generic chatbot, right? You need the definitive assistant that actually supercharges exactly what you do on a daily basis. So, to cut right through the noise and give you a clear, structured understanding, we're going to judge these three titans across 7 really important everyday categories. And we are talking about abstract benchmarking scores or synthetic data tests here. No way. We're looking at actual, real-world tasks. We want to evaluate exactly how these tools perform for students cramming for exams, professionals drafting proposals, programmers squashing bugs, and just everyday users trying to get things done. Here's how this showdown is going to unfold today. We'll start with the 2026 AI clash, move right into creation, writing, and coding. Then we'll dive into research and deep analysis, take a look at workflow and everyday usability, and finally, we'll deliver the final AI verdict. All right, let's kick things off with part 1, the 2026 AI clash, setting the stage. The stakes here are honestly incredibly high. We've got 3 distinct AI chatbots serving millions of users. Finding the best tool for your workflow matters immensely because, let's face it, picking the wrong one means wasting time fighting with a tool that just doesn't think the way you need it to. I mean, we've all been there, right? Prompting an AI 5 different times just to get a usable professional email, only to end up rewriting the whole thing yourself anyway. Choosing the right one, however, removes that friction and can completely revolutionize your day-to-day productivity. Moving right along to our first big thematic round: creation, writing, and coding. This is all about building from scratch. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the tie we see in the writing category. If your goal is writing blog posts, emails, essays, scripts, or social media content, you have 2 absolutely incredible options. ChatGPT produces really creative, natural-sounding text that just flows effortlessly. But Claude frequently delivers highly polished, nuanced responses that require almost 0 editing on your end. It understands tone exceptionally well. Gemini steps back slightly here. It opts for a much more concise, factual tone that's great for quick summaries, but maybe lacks the linguistic flair of the other 2. So ChatGPT and Claude take the shared crown for writing. But when we shift slightly from standard writing to pure imagination, a clear creativity champion emerges, and that's ChatGPT. Whether you're drafting YouTube scripts, brainstorming unconventional business ideas, outlining massive marketing plans, or even writing fictional stories, ChatGPT just consistently connects the dots in the most engaging way possible. It feels like this brilliant brainstorming partner that isn't afraid to take risks. Now, while Claude is definitely imaginative too, it leans a bit more formal and cautious. Gemini, on the other hand, is much more focused on purely practical, straightforward responses. All right, moving from human languages to computer languages, let's talk about coding capabilities. All 3 of these assistants can help you generate code, explain errors, and debug programs. However, ChatGPT wins this category. Why? Because of its sheer breadth of language support and its wild ability to remember context deep into a debugging session. Seriously, imagine you're trying to debug a 500-line Python script. ChatGPT holds that context remarkably well. Now, to be fair, if you're a programmer, Claude is still highly capable, especially if you're reviewing and improving incredibly large code bases all at once. And Gemini integrates wonderfully into Google's developer ecosystem. But for the ultimate all-around coding copilot, ChatGPT takes the point. Let's move to our next round and see how this builds. Part 3, research and deep analysis. This is all about processing info. When it comes to just looking things up, the research winner is Gemini, because it taps directly into Google's massive real-time search graph. It is blisteringly fast and completely avoids those outdated information hurdles that other models sometimes stumble on. If you need to pull the absolute latest stock market trends, breaking news, or rapidly changing industry data, Gemini's native web integration is simply unmatched.
Having said that, ChatGPT is still an excellent runner-up for learning and problem-solving, but Gemini clearly leads the pack for live research. But what if you already have the data, and there's just a massive amount of it? Well, this is where Claude asserts absolute dominance. Thanks to its massive context window, it has the ability to flawlessly ingest and summarize 100-page financial reports, explain incredibly dense scientific research papers, and analyze heavy text without ever losing the plot. It's like a superpower. If your daily work involves uploading large PDFs, cross-referencing massive documents, or breaking down deep literature, Claude is the undeniable heavyweight champion of this category. No question. Okay, time to transition into our final competitive round, workflow and everyday usability. Let's look at everyday integration. So the crucial point is that ease of use really dictates how often you'll actually reach for a tool. ChatGPT takes the win here with a frictionless, minimalist interface that absolute beginners can master in minutes. You literally just open it and type. Claude is similarly thoughtful and clean, while Gemini's true power unlocks primarily if your daily life already revolves around Google's ecosystem. If you aren't heavily using Gmail, Docs, and Drive, Gemini's interface can honestly feel a bit more cluttered compared to the streamlined focus of ChatGPT. And this brings us to a really fascinating tie-in, productivity. Gemini wins massive points here because it can literally pull data directly from your personal Google Docs or summarize an incredibly long thread in your Gmail right from the side panel. It is seamlessly integrated into where you probably already work, but ChatGPT matches that immense value by offering unparalleled custom instructions and incredibly advanced voice features that are absolutely perfect for brainstorming on the go. Claude, on the other hand, shines in productivity primarily when your specific task requires that deep analysis and very careful, deliberate reasoning we just talked about.
All right, let's bring the energy up for the highly anticipated final tally. Part 5, the final AI verdict.
Tallying this up perfectly summarizes our clash. Looking at the scorecard, ChatGPT secures definitive wins in ease of use, coding, and creativity, while tying in writing and productivity. I mean, that is a massive amount of surface area covered by a single AI, proving exactly why it remains so dominant. But hey, do not ignore the specialized powerhouses here. Gemini definitively claims research thanks to its Google integration, and it ties in productivity. Claude takes a critical tie in writing and an absolute win when it comes to long documents. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what you should take away from this explainer today. Finding your perfect match is entirely about your unique workflow. You should choose ChatGPT for a versatile, everyday powerhouse that performs exceptionally well across a huge variety of tasks. Choose Gemini if your digital life lives inside Google's ecosystem and you desperately need that real-time research. And choose Claude if your days are spent reading, analyzing, or summarizing highly complex, incredibly long documents. I want to leave you with this final thought today. Rather than asking which one is universally the best, ask which one is best for your specific needs. All three of these AI assistants are ridiculously powerful, but the ultimate choice depends strictly on how you plan to use it. So what does this all mean for you? Which AI do you find yourself using the most right now? Reevaluate your tools, optimize your workflow, keep learning, and I will see you in the next explainer.